All right, so yesterday I issued a challenge on TikTok. I asked people to give us the craziest ideas for nachos that we could possibly make. See, we've made quite a few different nachos over the last year, and I was thinking about how we can take this love of nachos that I have and go crazy with it. 600 comments later, you definitely gave us some crazy ideas. Some of them were real ideas that I thought were really cool, like dessert nachos, sushi nachos, some really cool ideas that I think would be really fun to do. There were also some crazy ones, like spaghetti nachos that might be possible. I don't know if it'd be worth it though. Either way, we're starting a new series where we're gonna make the craziest nachos we possibly can. But in order to figure out how to make the craziest nachos we can, we have to break down what nachos are. Now this might sound a little bit ridiculous, I get it. But if you break down the anatomy of a nacho, I feel like it has three main parts. Number one being what I'm gonna call the protein. Now, I don't think that's the best term for it because it's not always a protein, but typically gonna have chicken nachos, steak, beef, whatever you wanna call it, but that's the main theme for the nachos. Maybe it's the parent, maybe it's the substance, the main, I don't know what the right word is. Help me out here, leave it in the comments. But there's the main part of the nachos. That's the number one thing, and that has to be the shining star in my opinion. If you're gonna have chicken nachos and you have great chips, you have great sauce, you have great toppings, but the chicken sucks, then your nachos suck. The main portion of the nachos have to be great in order for the nachos to be great, just saying. The second thing with the anatomy of nachos is it has to be in some sort of vessel. The standard vessel for nachos are tortilla chips, but it doesn't have to be. And I think that's where the creativity for this series is gonna come into play. Because for the vessel, it could be anything from a cracker, it could be a tortilla chip, it could be waffles. It's anything that could be the home of the nacho. Does that make sense? Probably not. But this is where I think we can really get creative. And thirdly, I feel like it has to have the right toppings. Not every nacho needs cheese, especially when we're gonna get creative here with some of these other ones. But it does have to have something on top. It has to have a drizzle of a sauce or a honey, or your toppings could be a queso, and your toppings could be pico de gallo, some sort of salsa. It could be something sweet, like a drizzle of some sweet cream. It could be lettuce, tomatoes, anything that is added on top of it to add extra flavor. That's the third component to this. I feel like it has to have those three things in order to be a good nacho. Help me out with what I need to call number one, because I don't know, that still doesn't seem right. Now, with any sort of serious content like this, we can go in a lot of different directions, and I want your input. We got 600 comments on our video in the first 48 hours on TikTok, and we wrote down a ton of different ideas from that. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make a series of chicken nachos. 3 different chicken nachos, 3 completely different flavor profiles. These nachos couldn't be more different, but we got some great ideas. A lot of people asked for dessert nachos. We got apple pie nachos. We got some cheesecake nacho ideas, like so many great ideas. So keep giving us those. We're gonna do these in series where it makes sense. So tonight, we're getting started with chicken nachos. We have chicken bacon ranch nachos, which were probably one of the most requested. Chicken Alfredo nachos, which I'm probably the most excited about. And what might be the craziest of all, chicken and waffle nachos, which is a great idea. You talk about changing the vessel up, because we have waffles now. You talk about getting creative here. We're gonna take the vessel and we're gonna have waffles instead of tortilla chips. We're gonna have, instead of like a queso sauce, which I think would be good in this situation if you want to do that, but we're wanting to be different. We want to be creative here. I think we're gonna use like some hot syrup and some hot honey, something like that to give it an extra layer of spice, but also that sweetness that you're wanting to get when you have chicken and waffles. So without any further ado, let's go to the kitchen. To get started, we're going to go with the chicken bacon ranch nachos. These are probably the simplest ones we're making, but we're going to be a little creative here. That's right, we're going Cool Ranch Doritos. Chicken bacon ranch, Cool Ranch, it just makes sense. We want to make this easier on ourselves, so we got a rotisserie chicken. Cut that up into bite-sized pieces. You can grill it, you can fry it, whatever you want. We made some good bacon, chop that up, give it a good even distribution, and we're gonna go with some good melting cheese. I would normally do a queso, but I feel like that's all I ever do. So we got some Monterey Jack, we melted it down. Now the most important thing here is you have to have good ranch. We've got some good homemade ranch. Don't come at me with some junk ranch that, tastes like it's been sitting on a shelf for 6 months. It's not what you need here. You need some good ranch, and that's how you're gonna make these awesome chicken bacon ranch nachos. The good thing with the Doritos is you know what you're getting. It's got a good crunch. You ain't gotta worry about that. These were really, really good. Kind of surprised me. I kind of thought these would be just okay, but I would totally eat these any day of the week. Next up, we're going with the chicken Alfredo nachos. And of course, we're gonna make some pasta chips. We made some of these a little while back on our TikTok, but let's show you how we do it. We're gonna start off with some lasagna noodle sheets. We're just gonna cook them like normal. While that's cooking, we're gonna make our Alfredo sauce. We've got some butter, some Parmesan. We'll put in a little bit of garlic and then some heavy cream. Once that's come together, we're gonna add our Parmesan cheese and slowly simmer that until it all comes together. After your pasta's cooked, we're going to cut them into triangles. The pasta trend started with an air fryer, and that's what most people do, but we're going to bake these just a little bit easier. So we sprayed some cooking oil, we're going to layer these out, and we're going to season them up with some Danos. Any kind of Italian seasoning is going to be good. This has got a lot of herbs in it, so that's why I like it for this. Put it in the oven for about 20 minutes until they come out nice and crispy. All right, now we're going to use that rotisserie chicken again here, just for simplicity. You know, you can grill it, do whatever you want. But then we're going to take this amazing Alfredo sauce and just cover the whole thing. If you want, you can top it with some fresh basil or parsley, and that's pretty much it. Now, I feel like the crunch factor is really important for nachos. And as you can hear, there's an amazing crunch you get with these pasta chips. Obviously, I think we could have done this a little bit better if we would have, marinated the chicken and grilled it really fresh, but you can really expand upon these nachos. I highly recommend them. Go check out our TikTok where I did this into like a party dip. And let's move on to the star of the show. As you can see, we've transitioned back to the daytime because this was the first thing we did. We took these boneless, skinless chicken thighs, put them in a Ziploc bag, and poured buttermilk and pickle juice all over it. Because we want to let this sit for 4 to 5 hours. That's really going to have a big difference on the flavor of the chicken. We also added a little bit of hot sauce. We got this Elijah's Extreme Roasted Red Pepper Sauce. Highly recommend it. It's going to add a little extra flavor. Make sure this is really well coated. Put it in the fridge and come back after a few hours. For the dredge, we're going 50-50 mix of cornstarch and flour. We're also going to season it with some Danos. Give that a good mix. We're going to take it straight from that buttermilk right into that flour bag. You really, really want to get into this. Mix it up really well. Just make sure that top's on good, but really, really get into this and mix it well because you want that flour in every part of this chicken. Don't be afraid to kind of squeeze it in there. That's going to make it extra crispy. Then we're going to lay it in this fryer basket, really nice and easy. You don't want to overcrowd it. And we're going to fry these for about 8 to 10 minutes. When it comes out, it's really crispy and juicy. The first thing we're going to do, though, is we're going to hit it with some of this Mike's Hot Honey. If you do it while it's still warm, it's really going to get into the chicken and have a much better flavor. Let it rest for 5 or 10 minutes with this honey on top of it. Next thing you're going to do is get a hot waffle iron. Make sure it's really hot. And we're going to take our waffle batter, put it straight into the iron. I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory. We're just going to make a waffle here. I will say, however, my one regret is I wish I would have let it get almost a little bit too crispy. Go a little bit longer because I didn't think about it, but it really, with a nacho, you want it to be something you can pick up. And this is our vessel. If you go back to our anatomy class, this is our vessel. And I didn't really try to pick them up because it just felt like it was going to fall apart. So I cut them into triangles because that's your standard chip shape. Although you can go with any shape you want, but spread that out across the plate. Now we're going to cut up this chicken. You can see just how juicy this is thanks to that buttermilk brine. But then we got some bacon. When we were cooking our bacon for the chicken bacon ranch, we went ahead and took a few pieces and glazed it with some maple syrup. So we've got this maple bacon, this crunchy chicken. We're going to spread this out as evenly as possible. I feel like distribution is really important for nachos, but then we're just going to hit it with some syrup. Optionally, I wanted to add another element of heat. So I took up some fresh jalapenos and sliced those really thin into little bite-sized pieces. This might be my greatest creation yet. Chicken and waffle nachos. And now, it's time to dig in. Here we go. I think facial expressions are really important. It's the best way to tell if something's truly good or not. It's messy, it's sticky, but man, it's delicious. That is so good. In fact, I was really impressed with all of the nachos. If I had to rank them, I would probably go with the chicken and waffles was the best, followed by the chicken Alfredo nachos, then followed by the chicken bacon ranch nachos. If you really look into it, that's also an order from most difficult to easiest. So it goes to show that the more effort you put into any dish, the better it's going to be. Now I need you to like this video and comment with an idea for the craziest kind of nachos we can make. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and thanks for watching.